This is Robert Nerney.
And I'm Jason Pacheco.
We're your hosts of Road to Real Estate, a podcast about real estate, small business, and the independent spirit. Today we're talking with Walter King, the property plug. Thank you, Walter, for coming.
Pleasure.
A local real estate investor who closed 50 deals in 2024.
So 2024, I did over 60 closings. A lot of those were double closings. Okay. So I bought and sold, bought and sold, bought and sold. So that's how you turn one closing into two.
Okay, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
All right.
But before we do begin and start getting into it, I just wanted to recognize a home inspection company that's sponsoring this podcast. We use them often. It's Mike over at House Doctor Home Inspections. You can reach Mike over at 401-597-0050. They just did a home inspection for me in Smithfield. Always a great job. And second guest sponsor here is John Dolbec at Primary Residential Mortgage. I trust John Dolbec with my own stuff and my clients. So if you ever need a loan or if you're a first-time home buyer, he does a lot of good work with Rhode Island housing and VA loans. You can reach John at 401-321-4401.
Excellent. So, Walter, can you tell us, as a way of introduction, a little bit about yourself and how you got into real estate?
Sure. Where would you like me to start?
That's up to you.
I grew up in Providence.
Okay. I taught in Providence for 30 years.
Yeah, I grew up in Providence my whole entire life. I live in Massachusetts now, but I grew up in Providence. I've only been in real estate for 10 years. I started in real estate around 2014. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. I've owned a bunch of different businesses. And I just woke up one day. I had a nightclub, and I lost a bunch of money in that nightclub, and I decided I'm going to get into real estate, and that's what I did.
Excellent.
And I tried different aspects of real estate. I tried flipping. I tried, just doing different things, and I kind of landed on being a wholesaler and a landlord and a hard money lender.
Okay, that's very good.
Yeah, cool. So never really thought about getting onto like the on-market realtor space?
Never.
At the beginning?
No, never had any aspirations of becoming an agent or any kind of a broker. I've always been a hustler my whole life, so I applied that and I hustle houses.
Right, there you go.
Yeah.
It's a property plug, right?
Property plug.
So, you can find Walter on Instagram at property_plug.
Correct.
Right? So, correct me if I'm wrong, from a little research and the introduction, you do a lot of like off-market space work.
I do probably 80% off-market.
Yeah.
And 20% on.
And what really, what's an off-market property for viewers?
In what aspect? What do you mean?
So when you said you did you found a deal off-market, what's off-market?
So an off-market would be me buying something from somebody and selling it without listing it on MLS, without paying any broker's fees or any commissions. So that would be an off-market deal.
Yeah. Have you had any luck with an MLS deal? Have you ever found deals on MLS? Or?
So there are a lot of guys that they monitor MLS very closely and they do find deals. I haven't had much luck with it. I have bought a few, and I've bought some throughout the course of my real estate, but I don't do well with on market. Yeah. But that's not to say that you can't. You can find a lot of good deals on MLS. Yeah, and also you can see how long something's been listed on MLS. You can lowball the owner. If it's been listed for a year, you have them at an advantage now. You can offer them a lot less than what they're asking.
Yeah, I'm guessing maybe in your early year one. Were you on MLS a lot more?
No, I've never been on MLS. No.
Awesome.
My first year, I was just trying to structure deals. I know a guy selling the house. I know a guy who wants to buy it. But it actually took me 2 years to put my first deal together.
Okay.
Yep, 2 years. And I spent 2 years of riding around and deals just blowing up and getting cut out of deals and not knowing how to structure contracts and not knowing language, not knowing how to protect myself.
So what changed? So what was the turning point?
Knowledge.
Okay.
Yep. So
those first 2 years you were gaining knowledge.
Gaining knowledge.
Okay.
Yep. I was very unsure of myself. I didn't know how to maneuver in that space. I wasn't familiar with contracts, with languages.
But you kept at it though.
I kept at it. And my first deal, I made $5,000.
Well.
And it took me 2 years to make that. And that was it. After that, I said, I'm going to set the bar for myself. There's a certain standard of what I need to make on each deal, and I'll never allow myself to get cut out of another deal.
Excellent. Very good. I have a friend at the gym, and I told him about this interview, and I said, do you have a question? Now, he was into real estate early on in his life, and then he got out of it. And he said, ask Walter, what is the first step he should take if he wants to get back involved in real estate? Now, he's not talking about on market, just off market.
My advice to anybody trying to get into real estate is be consistent with looking for deals. And you can find a deal anywhere, and that's what people do not understand. And when I say anywhere, I mean anywhere. You can find a house with missing vinyl siding, with overgrown grass. You can search absentee landlords. If you find some guy living in New York doesn't want to be a landlord anymore, I mean, the possibilities are endless. Real estate is one industry where if you put in the time, you will find a deal.
That's a guarantee.
That's a guarantee. Eventually.
So when you say put in the time, is that driving?
Driving for dollars.
Do you still do that? Is that something?
I'm always driving for dollars.
Okay.
If I go to Cumberland Farms down the street, I'm driving for dollars. Everywhere
right.
I go, my head's on swivel when I'm looking for a potential deal.
Okay.
Everywhere I go.
And they're out there, like you said.
I find them all the time.
Okay.
I find overgrown lots. I find houses with, houses sitting on double lots, and I'll knock on the door, or we'll do some skip tracing, and we'll find the owner of the house, and we'll make them an offer. I mean, the possibilities. I could be here until tomorrow and just tell you different ways to cultivate deals.
So within that realm, is it very important to be consistent with your method? Like, so
100%.
It is.
That's the biggest problem with people, in my opinion, in the realm that I work in. They lack consistency. They want to do it today, but they don't do it tomorrow. They think they can pick it up and put it down, play with it, and they say, "Wow, I can't get a deal together. I can't make any money." No, you are inconsistent. You can't do this for 1 or 2 days. You got to do it straight and nonstop, and it will pan out. You will make deals happen.
Okay, pretty good.
Yeah. So you also said you're a landlord. So
Correct.
What's some advice for some young people buying their first multifamily, want a house hack, never dealt with tenants?
Don't buy it. That's my advice.
Yeah.
I do not think buying multifamilies in Rhode Island are good investments at this time. Multifamilies, in my opinion, are, right now they perform as owner occupied. You got to live on the first floor, and you'll maybe get a discount on rent, but you rent out the second and third floor. But if you to just buy a 2-family off MLS and make money, not going to happen.
It's because they're too expensive.
They're just too expensive. The taxes are too high. The insurance is through the roof. Utilities, maintenance, everything is against you. It's just buying a multifamily and letting that house pay for itself. I think the average return on a multifamily in Rhode Island is under $200 a door.
Wow.
So if you have a 3-family, you're making less than $600 a month net.
Right.
Which it's not worth it to deal with 3 tenants and own a 3-family home and put $600 in your pocket. It's a lot of headache for a little bit of money.
Yeah. So I mean, at your place you are today, are you dealing with tenants, or do you have someone do that? Do you delegate?
I deal with tenants.
You deal with
I
tenants?
actually have to leave here and go look at an apartment that they moved out today. I deal with tenants. I have my daughter who works full time for me,
Nice.
and she deals with a lot of it. She does a lot of the administrative, and I'm more in the field and I deal with it. I can't see paying a property management company 8 and 10% to do something that I can do.
Do you work on your own? I know. Well, just to give everyone a little bit of context, we're here at 13 Silver Lake in Warwick. It's for sale for $375. Walter's property.
Thank you.
Now, do you do any work at these properties?
I do what I want to do. I
Yeah,
do what's
right.
fun. Clean up and play around and break stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm not here cutting stuff. My time is more valuable.
Yeah.
So I'll come and play around and I'll clean up a little bit and hang out with the guys sometimes. But I do like to spend time in the houses, just to feel the energy and spend time to see how I should do the layout and stuff like that. But as far as the work, no, I don't do much of the work anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anymore? So you used to a little, maybe?
Very little in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a good contractor, but my time is
All right.
way more valuable than to, I could sit there and pay somebody $25-30 an hour to do the work. I would rather be out chasing down the next lead.
Right.
Yeah.
Walter, what is okay? So the tenement, the 2-3 family is not the best investment. So what's the best investment for someone like yourself?
So you have to ask yourself, what is the best investment for the capital that I'm working with? How much money do you have to invest? Right now, my opinion, the best investment is to buy a piece of land, build a 2-family, refinance that, pull the money out, rent it. You'll get a great return. Do it again and again and again. You can build a 2-family home in 6, 7, 8, 9 months. Every year you can add 1 house to your portfolio. They'll make great returns. You're going to be way under market value. You can pull out all the money. Those, to me, are the best investments right now. You're going to buy a 6-unit building for $1 million. It's just not there.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And for someone younger with less experience, nervous, on the sidelines, what is something a little bit more beginner friendly?
For an investment,
Yeah, just getting into the real estate.
condominiums.
Yeah.
If you're looking for an investment, condominium.
To rent?
To rent, yeah, because you can still buy a condominium in Rhode Island for $150,000, $175,000. You can rent it out for $2,000 a month, $2,200 a month. Pay your condo fees. You can still make $300-$400 a month on a condominium as a rental.
Right.
Which I would rather own 2 condominiums instead of a 2-family home.
Okay. Yeah.
Because that is more passive income. Condominiums are more passive income than multifamilies. You don't have to worry about taxes. You worry about your own condominium taxes, but no water, no sewer, no trash, no snow, no maintenance on the outside of the property.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
You pretty much just collect your rent from the tenant, and you let
That's
the
smart.
condo association handle everything. So instead of buying a 3-family house for $650,000, I would rather buy 3 condominiums in 3 separate locations. They're gonna cash flow way better. They're gonna be way less. And the main idea of getting into real estate is passive income. So they say. It's not too passive, but so they say, passive income.
Yeah,
But-
so do you have a lot, sorry to cut you off, but do you have a lot of experience with condos?
I have 25 condominiums.
Okay.
Wow.
So that's a good talking point because I've thought of it and I'm just a little hesitant getting into the condo space because I always feel like there's me, the property, but there's the condo complex that I can't control. Them getting into lawsuits, them messing up the budget, and it could affect something I can't control.
You just have to be proactive.
Okay.
You got to be proactive. You got to go to the meetings. You got to be in communication with them, and and the condo they're going to raise the HOA fees. Eventually they're going to raise them, which is going to affect your bottom line. But if you're in sync with your property, when they raise the HOA fees, you can raise the fees on the tenant. You could prepare them and say, hey, when they raise the HOA fees, I'm going to raise the rent on you.
Right.
But across the board, they perform better. You're more likely to have a tenant in place longer in a condominium because it's more of like their own space than them renting an apartment in a tenement building.
Right.
People in apartments are always looking for single families or bigger places to be. So, and the main objective when you are renting is to keep the tenant in place for as long as possible. If you get tenants moving out every year, you're losing money. You need somebody in there 5 years to make money.
Right.
You got to go in there, you got to paint, you got to change a rug, you got to put a vanity. There's $2,000. You're lucky if you made $2,000 on the rental property all year, and then people move out, and there goes your whole bottom line for the year. So the main objective is to keep people in place for as long as they can. Ideally, you want people to raise their families there.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you've been driving for dollars to find deals, but if following you on Instagram, people are going to quickly find that you're always at auctions.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about what that's about, what that's like.
So the auctions are foreclosure sales. People don't pay their mortgage, or they don't pay their taxes, or they don't pay their water bill, sewer bill. I just put one on my Instagram where the woman had a secured credit card that was tied to her house. She had no mortgage. She owed $12,000 on the credit card, and they foreclosed on her home. So she lost her home for her credit card.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So she does get the remainder. I think the bidding went to like $250,000. She does get the remainder, but her house was worth probably $375,000. So she lost $100K in equity over a $12,000 credit card debt.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. And where can people find this information to go to on, see what it's about?
So check the Providence Journal. Look for the
Okay.
every single foreclosure sale has to be advertised in the newspaper.
Okay.
So look in the newspaper. You'll find them in the publications, and just be consistent. Get out there and do as much research on these properties as you can. It's not as easy as you think, though. It's not easy buying a house from the sidewalk.
Yeah,
without
you can't
ever
go in, right? No.
Most of the time, you can't go in the house, and it's a tough sale because if you don't have the money to buy the house in 30 days, you give them a deposit. It can be $5, $10, it can be up to $50,000 deposit the day of the auction. If you don't have the funds to purchase this home on the closing date, which is 30 days from the auction, you have to go to a lender, a hard money lender, and then you got to sell your vision to a lender. And most of the time, lenders don't want to lend if the houses are owner occupied or there's people living in there, they can't get in the house, because now you got to buy the house and you got to pay your points and you got to pay your interest and your closing costs, and you're going to be out $15,000, $20,000, $30,000, and you can't even get started on the house. Now you file for eviction. It could take you 2-3 months to get the people out.
Yeah.
So it's not for the weak.
Right.
I see people every single day lose money. Every single day, it doesn't fail. See people lose money because they don't know what they're doing.
Right.
They go out there and they're bidding and they're thinking, in a nutshell, they feel like, wow, I got a house worth $300,000 for $210,000, but no, you didn't,
Right.
because you're going to be more than $210 at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And how long have you been doing auctions?
6 years.
Okay.
And I've probably bought, oh man, over 1,000 houses.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I did 70 last year.
From auctions.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep. Now, mind you, it might sound like I'm making a lot of money. I just sold the house in Attleboro. I made $91.
91.
Yeah.
91. So,
It's more than I have.
you win some, you lose some.
Yeah, that's cool.
You know, I'm not focused on what I'm making. I'm just focused on not losing.
Right, it's
Right?
important.
Because when you're entering your phone 30 times a day and you're sending 100 emails, what's another email? What's another phone call? So it just gets washed in. Another closing, go over here, sign your name. So if I make a couple $100, couple $1,000, 5,000, 50,000, it's
Right. Let me ask you, what's the most appealing part of real estate?
freedom.
Yeah, I like freedom.
So this is one of the best things for me. I don't have to be around anybody I don't want to be around. I don't have to deal with you if I don't like you. I don't have to go near you. There's a lot of people in this business I choose not to associate with. There's a lot of scammers out there. There's a lot of just nonsense, and I choose to just not associate with them. And when you work a 9-to-5 job, you kind of have to work with whoever you have to work with. Even real estate agents don't like each other. They still have to work with each other. They got to communicate. Me, I don't have to deal with anybody. I don't like you. I'm not going to even talk to you.
Right. I think I've just gotten into the field because, like I said, I taught for many years, and I do love the freedom.
Yes.
Freedom's awesome.
Yeah.
Because I was always in a classroom, and then the bell rings, you get another class that was just structured for you
So you were a school teacher.
in Providence.
Yeah. So you got kids. May have some kids you don't want to deal with.
Right.
Headaches. You got to deal with them every day.
Right, right.
That freedom to me is priceless.
It is priceless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody's calling me. I don't like them. I just don't answer the phone. I don't want to deal with them. I don't have to. I don't need them. And if I do decide to deal with them, I'm going to deal with them on my terms.
Right.
Here's what's going on. Here's the deal. You like the deal. You like it. You do. You don't. You don't. But I don't have to deal with you.
Excellent.
And to me, that's that's priceless.
No, that is priceless. Freedom is
Yeah.
it's a beautiful thing.
And that's a different kind of freedom. How many people are going to go to work tomorrow and stand next to somebody they can't stand? Right?
Yeah.
It's going to mess up their whole energy for the whole day as soon as they look at that person.
Yeah. So what gets you going on your day-to-day basis? Is it scoring a new deal? Is it selling it? Like, what's a win for you? What gets you excited? What gets your adrenaline going?
So it's not money,
Yeah.
right? People think it's money. It's not money. I just like putting the deal down. I just like getting it down. I like being the guy that closed it. Everybody's like, oh,
From the hard money lender perspective, closing it on the hard money side, or being the creative thinker?
No, when somebody says you paid too much for that property, or the property is not worth what you paid, and then selling it and making money and showing,
Right.
They don't know what the
Yeah.
hell they're talking about.
Yeah.
And 90% of the time that's the case, because a lot of these guys, they look at these houses and they can't see it.
Right.
Some people just don't have it. Some people have it, some people don't have it. I don't have to comp a house. I'm not on MLS seeing what the house is worth. I look at the house and I can tell you what it's worth. And I'm about 90% on point with the value, just off eyesight.
awesome, yeah.
The neighborhood, the way the neighbors, keep their houses, the schools, just I can drive into any neighborhood and tell you what the house is
Yeah.
worth. Yeah.
Now, is there any source of competitive nature in you? Because in the
Oh.
real estate world, there's leaderboards you can see, and there's like, I gotta outsell this person. But
I'm a savage.
Yeah.
I'm a savage.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna outwork everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. It isn't like I said, consistency. I work every day like I'm poor.
Yeah.
I get up every morning like I don't have a dime to my name, and I treat the day just like that. And I'm out every single day. I get up, I get out, I hit the streets. Even if I have nowhere to go, if I don't have nothing to do in my office, I'm in the streets.
Yeah.
And like I said, me going to Starbucks or me riding down the street, that could, take me down this street, and I'm knocking on this door, I'm talking to this person, and there's a potential deal.
So, Walter, if you see a house that's in disrepair, you'll actually stop and knock on the door?
Absolutely. So if I see a house that's in disrepair, I will call my assistant who works for me, or I'll call my daughter, and I'll say, hey, what can you tell me about this house? We'll do a little bit of research on the house. We'll see if there's any violations, any liens from the city. We'll call the city. Is it compliant with taxes? Do they owe any taxes? Where's the landlord? Is the landlord out of state? Do they live in the house? So we do a little bit of research on the house, and that takes us a total of 5 minutes. Right, I'm sitting right outside the house, and if they live there, I'll knock on the door, and if they don't, we'll try to give them a call, and we'll say, hey, you're not taking care of this property. What's going on? You got a bunch of violations. You got this. You got that. You want to sell it? you know, what's going on with it? Talk to me. Let's see if we can help you.
Right.
And sometimes they'll say, well, we do want to sell it, but we don't have anywhere to go. That's fine. I'll let you stay there for 6 months. I'll let you stay there for a year, but let me buy the property from you.
Now, did you do that the first 2 years? Was that something you did, or you developed that?
I developed that.
So the first 2 years, that wasn't really your MO?
Well, I was trying to do it,
Yeah.
and I was learning the
Yeah.
rhythm and learning how to research. But there's so many things you can do, like looking up land evidence records, and there's just so many things you can do to, you know, like if you borrow money from him, I can go in land evidence records and I can see he's the lender, and then I can call the lender and I can say, hey, you know, you lent money to Robert and I don't think he's paying you, and you know, you want to sell the note to me, and then I can call you and I'm now your lender, and let's figure something out. And that works.
Wow.
Well, that's next level. Yeah.
There's a million. We'll be here till tomorrow, and I can tell you just different ways to find deals and get deals done. You know, you become almost like a social worker. You're just putting out fires every day.
Right.
And I'm talking about environmental issues and boundary issues with land and finding lenders for the buyers.
But it sounds like nothing put you off. It sounds like, okay, this is a challenge. Let's meet the challenge.
I am a true closer, right? If some people out there will understand that, but I'm a true closer. The word no does not exist to me. I can take a guy with zero money in his pocket and I can get him a loan for this house. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I don't care if we got to put the title to your car and give the lender your title as a lien, and you know, we'll figure out a way, as long as you know you're not, you know, a total jerk, and you're not out here screwing people over, and we can trust you a little bit. We'll get you approved. We'll get you a loan. We'll figure it out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I think you already answered it, but is there any deals or things that you're staying away from? Is it the multifamilies only, or?
I mean, I buy multis, but I got to buy them for the right number. But no, there's nothing. I'll buy a treehouse if they're just selling one.
Yeah.
If I can get it for the right number. There's nothing I'm really staying away from. There are things that I kind of watch out for more than other things. Like land. Land is tricky because you never know what you're getting yourself into with land. Everybody's selling land. I just got a call for 4 vacant lots in Cranston. But there's so much logistics that goes into land. You might have to put retaining wall. You got utilities. You got water, sewer. You could have ledge in the ground. You know, and it's a lot more than just being like an approved buildable lot.
Right.
So you have to kind of know what you're looking at.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on solar panels on a home? Would you touch it still?
So I would buy a house with solar, but
Yeah.
normally there's a first or a second position lien on the property. So we'll pull title and we'll see where they're at with that and what the payout is, and But I don't. Nothing deters me.
Cool.
Yeah, I bought a house with 25 dead cats in it once, and a dead body.
Really?
Dead body. The old lady died in the house. They nobody did a wellness check on her, and we went in there and she was laying in the bed.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah. That's real estate, right?
That's real estate.
Yeah.
So that particular deal, I got a call from an attorney. The attorney bought the house at a tax sale. This is a pretty sad story. The attorney bought the house at a tax sale because the woman didn't pay her taxes, because she died in the house and nobody did a wellness check on her, and she was in there for probably 2 years.
Oh my God.
Her and her cats. And she died, and the cats died, and I think the cats ate some of her, because cats will eat you quick.
Yeah.
You can't trust a cat.
So me and my partner, we went in the house, and you could see the remains of her in the bed, and I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I'm going.
It's like a horror movie.
Yeah, it was the smell. Believe it or not, after a couple of years, you would think that it wouldn't smell, but you could still smell it.
Yeah.
It was rough.
Yeah. So it sounds like you said attorney, so it sounds like you have a good network behind you. In a given week, just a little rough estimate, how many texts or calls do you get with someone trying to give you a deal?
Somebody trying to bring me a deal, I get probably 5 to 10 calls a day.
Wow.
with potential deals. Probably one of those are actually a legitimate follow-up deal, worth actually investing. So I have my kind of like my protocol I'll go through. First thing I'll say is, what do you want for the house, and what is the house worth? I don't care how much work the house needs, but if you want $300,000 for the house and the house is worth $350,000, there's nothing I can do with that.
Yeah.
Nothing, unless the house is absolutely perfect.
Right.
But if your house needs windows and floors and paint, and you want $300,000 and it's worth $350,000, I'm not the guy for you.
Right.
Yeah, it's not worth it. Chances are it's not worth $350,000 and it needs more than $300,000.
Right.
Yeah, that's
So-
usually the case, right?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. I want to go back to wholesaling for a second. So I spent yesterday doing some cold calling, and I think you know my son Isaiah Nerney.
Yes.
He's the police officer.
Yes.
And he's always encouraging me, Dad, sit down. You got to sit in that seat. So any tips on cold calling?
So cold calling is not for everybody. You need to know how to talk. All right, you need to be direct, and you need to not take no for an answer. I cannot cold call because I'm too quick to hang up on you. Like you tell me no, and I'm like, all right, no problem. But you have to be persistent, and you have to not take no for an answer, and you have to troubleshoot your way through that phone call. Yeah, and the main objective with a cold call is, are they interested in selling? How much do they owe on the house? And those are the two major things. How much do they owe? They owe $100,000, the house is worth $300,000. Okay, we can keep going. But you want to find out what their mortgage is, because if they owe $250,000 and the house is worth $300,000, forget it. There's nothing there for you. So don't waste time. I've also found that I don't have a lot of experience with cold calling, but I've also found that older people in their 70s, they'll talk to you 2-3 days straight. Just waste your time. They just want to talk to somebody.
Right. Yeah.
So especially you get like an older guy that was in real estate at one time.
Yeah.
He'll talk. He'll waste. And I mean this in the most respectful way.
No, right.
He'll waste so much of your time.
Right.
He'll have you come out. I had a guy come out, had me look at his house. Wanted to give me a beer.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, you want to sell me the house? Or,
Yeah.
He's like, I'm thinking about it. And I'm like, oh, buddy,
Yeah.
you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, my goal this year, and I want to ask you what yours is next, is to do 2 wholesales or 2 flips.
So what are you doing to reach that goal?
So cold calling and driving for dollars.
How
right
many
now.
cold calls did you do today?
Today, didn't do any.
How many did you do yesterday?
Maybe 15.
15. And where did those 15 calls get you?
All voicemails are invalid numbers.
So no solid leads yet.
No.
Now, do you follow up with any of those 15?
Yeah, they're in my CRM. They're going to continue to get texts and calls from me.
Okay.
But the dead numbers, I'm just like doing detective work.
Where are you getting your leads from?
All driving for dollars.
So you're just driving around and you're looking.
Yeah, if I have a real estate showing, I'm in the neighborhood, I pass by something, screenshot the maps.
Do you do prop stream and all that?
Similar, it's called Rhode.
So you get a deal, you cold call somebody, and you actually do get somebody with some equity, and they want to sell you the property. What do you do with it next?
I'm gonna run my numbers, try and get them under contract as low as I can. Then I'm gonna budget myself, see is there room for a flip, is it tight, maybe wholesale it if just to decide. It's all determined upon, I think, the property condition, because it would be a new flip for me, first time ever.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to get into something large in a big project. So if it's like mold, holes in the ceiling, and the equation works for a wholesale, I'll just wholesale.
So let's paint the scenario.
Yeah.
You approach me and you offer me $200,000. It seems like a good deal. You
Okay.
offer me $200,000, and I say okay, and you give me a $500 deposit. Now you got the contract.
Yeah.
Now you're going to try to wholesale that contract.
Right.
What happens if you can't find a buyer?
If I can't find a buyer, I'm going to try and keep the 10-day inspection period in there so I can back out within it. What's going on, everyone? So when I'm not podcasting, I'm in real estate, and there's a lot of times where I need to, refer out an excavator, someone to do clean outs, gravel, grading, digging, stuff like that, junk removal. So if any of you ever need any of that type of work taken care of, reach out to Tom at Legacy Excavating at 401-227-5399. Reach out to Tom. He'll take care of you. Back to the show.
See that? You're not going to tell me that in the beginning.
What do you mean?
You're not going to say,
No,
hey,
that's not something he tells you. No.
if I can't find a buyer, I'm going to tell you to kick rocks.
Right.
You got me thinking. So in the meantime, I'm packing my bags. I'm going to Disney.
Gotcha.
My wife is shopping. We think we're getting a new car.
Yeah, my contract
And
just
then-
came through and the numbers didn't work out.
But he's not telling me that in the beginning.
Right.
So you got to find a way to do that, right? You got to find a way to tell the people, hey, I'm going to try to sell it, but if I can't sell it, I'm not going to buy it from you.
Right.
But when you tell them that, they're going to say, I'm not dealing with this.
Right.
I don't want to deal with this.
Right.
So what you got to do is you got to believe in the deal. See, me, if I commit to buying a property, I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy it. You just may have to go a little further with that property than you wanted to,
Mm-hmm.
right? Get them out, paint it, then put it on the market, go a little further.
Right.
So I never walk away from a contract. I always tell people, if a wholesaler calls you, tell them you want a $10K non-refundable deposit.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to tie your hands behind your back and you're not going to walk away.
Right.
I tell people that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody out there that they're getting phone calls, and it's probably not going to help you, but they're getting phone calls from these wholesalers and these cold callers, tell them you want a $10K deposit, non-refundable. If they back out of the contract, you're not giving them back their money. And we'll see how many of these guys actually want to put your house under contract. I will.
Yeah.
I'll give you a 50K deposit.
Right.
Because I'm going to close the house either way.
Right.
But a lot of these wholesalers are not.
That's true.
Right? Imagine you're the homeowner and you're planning a trip to Disney, and you're doing this, and you're going to pay your daughter's tuition, and you're putting a deposit on another apartment, and all the while this guy's out shopping the contract. He can't find a buyer. He just blocks your number and ghosts you.
Yeah.
And just leaves you high and dry.
Right.
And your boxes are packed by the door, and Joe Schmo's not answering the phone anymore.
So in that case, as far as a wholesaler gets the house under contract, how does that wholesaler establish a solid buyer's list?
So the way my buyer's list is structured, you got the bullshitters and the buyers, right? And I'll start with the buyers, the real buyers, people that have actually bought houses that I know have the wherewithal, can produce, guys that are not going to tire kick, real flippers, they know what they want. And then I'll go down the line and I'll go to this guy, to that guy, to that guy, and if nobody wants it, then I'll move on to the bullshitters and waste most of my time. But every once in a while, a bullshitter will buy a house, And you got to a lot of times you got to hold their hand through the process, and you got to get them a lender, you got to help them with funding, you got to, call Home Depot and get them windows, who knows? But
Right. So you've done that
all the time.
Yeah, of course.
All the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you couldn't find that buyer, you're flipping it yourself.
I'm flipping it myself.
Renting it or whatever
Yeah.
that happens.
Yeah. I've never not been able to find a buyer.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
I've never not been able to find a buyer.
Yeah, and how true would you say is, I hear sometimes, is like you find the deal, and like don't worry about it. It'll attract like the hard money lenders. If it's a good deal, it'll result into something.
That's true, but a lot of what the hard money lenders base their decision on is who they're lending money to, right? I don't care how much equity you have in a house. If you're a total idiot, a lender's not going to lend to you. Like, you got to have some sort of a head on your shoulders. That is because it doesn't benefit the lender. Let's say, the house is worth $500,000 and you only need to borrow $100,000. It doesn't benefit the lender to lend you the $100,000 if he doesn't think you can pay. Because all he's going to do is foreclose and get his $100K back. There's a misconception that the bank can take the house. The bank doesn't take your house. It doesn't work that way. Goes into foreclosure, goes to auction, lender gets what he's owed. It's a huge inconvenience for him.
Right.
And they don't want to do that. In a perfect world, they want you to pay them in less than a year so they can put that money back in rotation and do it over and over and over again.
Yeah. So, what's your 2025 goals look like this year? Are you a goals guy or not really?
I set small obtainable goals for
Yeah.
myself, gym goals, do this, do that. But as far as work goes, nah. I don't want to get into any bigger projects than I'm already in. I'm doing a bunch of new constructions. I'm doing a bunch of wholesales. I'm doing a condo conversion in Fall River. I don't want to get into really, really big developments, because you bet big, you lose big. So I'm going to just keep making my money and doing these small deals and climbing my way to the top. But the minute, I see these guys doing, these 75 units, 150 units, they're getting their asses handed to them. It's too time consuming for me. It ties up too much money for too long of a time.
Yeah. And what is the top for you?
I don't know.
You don't know.
No.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's a tree house and maybe a
Yeah.
case of
A beach house in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
I'm not in the market to acquire any more rental property, so I'm not, unless it's something that really, really performs really well. But I'm not looking for any more rental property. Just to continue doing deals, just to keep building my network and just continue to cultivate and just build.
I guess in 10 years from now, where do you hope you are? Still doing deals?
Yeah, still doing deals. Yeah. I don't know. It's
day by day, right?
Day by day.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can't. It's not a dollar amount. You can't put a dollar amount
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
I'm not looking to be the governor or nothing like that. And,
Yeah.
That's funny you said that. I was just thinking maybe the governor.
No, I can't.
For a moment, though, I'm not kidding. I was thinking, governor.
I don't think they'll vote for me.
I'll vote for you. I'll run that campaign.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know about the governor.
No, but you're so down to earth, dude. It'd be great to have a governor who's down to earth. I like that about you. You're very
I think
down
I'd be
to-
too down to earth.
That's what we need.
Yeah, it is
You
what
know
we
I
need.
mean?
Yeah, but I think I'd be too down to earth for that.
All right. So, we have 3 questions that we try to ask our guests. And the first is, where would you find the best cup of coffee in Rhode Island?
My wife.
Oh, excellent.
Oh, there you
Yeah.
go.
All right.
Yeah.
My
All
wife.
right. What about your favorite restaurant?
Favorite restaurant. So
In Rhode Island.
So I eat out so much that the food doesn't move me, right? And Rhode Island, we got great food. So I care more about where I am, and since I'm always working, if I'm going to be spending, $60 on a steak, I want to be networking also. So I try to go to like a Capitol Grill or an Oyster Bar or someplace where I'm going to see people and I could potentially network and do a deal. If I was going to go to a restaurant where I knew that there was no possibility of me bumping into anybody, I wouldn't even go.
Okay.
Interesting. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I'm always
working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to spend $60 on a steak, I want to at least take a shot. I might see somebody and sell a house or buy a house or do a deal.
Yeah. So I guess if you're not, get that mindset out where you're not working, you have no responsibility. It's just Saturday. How are you spending the day?
That's not reality.
No.
Because even when there's nothing to do, there's something to do.
How'd you spend your Christmas?
You believe it or not, I did a little work on Christmas.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I did a little work
go.
on Christmas. Yeah, I actually brought a bunch of materials to this house right here.
Really?
Yeah, like these lights, all these lights and stuff. Yeah. When Christmas was over and everything settled down, I loaded up my truck and I brought everything over here. And I came in and actually put a couple of these lights in just to get out of the house.
All right, Walter, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it, and we want to wish you the best of luck.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on.
Thanks, Walter.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you. That was actually really good. Yeah. It was.